Blood red moon lights my way. Angel found themselves me. Life and death.
I don't want to end this game.
Alright guys, we're going to talk a little more at Georgia's off season and a few other things. The 2023-24 athletic season has officially ended, so that means the Dawgs athletics is over. We will restart August 4th against Clemson in soccer, as I mentioned a few days ago. Georgia had an amazing 2023-24 season, and we cut out that might be copyrighted. And when you take, here's the thing, this will be a season I will never forget. You know, I've said it a few times. It's scary entering the adult world, so that season will be the last one I have of that. Of, you know, being a kid, being able to do kid things. But now I'm entering the adult world, so that's why that's another reason why the 23-24 season will always stick with me as one of the best, because that's it. There'll just never be another one like it, man. And that sucks, but I mean, what are you going to do, right? Seasons go on, time goes on, and we must go on as well. So after the 23-24 athletic season started with, I'm just going to name notable things to me. Started with soccer. Georgia soccer had a West Coast road trip to start the season, and they played a few odd games. They played a team like Minnesota, USC, UCLA, all on the road to start the season for the first 2 weeks or so. And conference play, Georgia absolutely turned it on, and then what do you know? Georgia wins the SEC championship in women's soccer. Here is the call here's our stream call of that.
16, 15, Arkansas kicks it in. They headbutt it back. 12, 11, 10, Arkansas kicking it. It's loose. Arkansas has it. 6 seconds over the net with 4, with 3, with 2, with 1. Georgia's won the SEC championship. Georgia has won the SEC championship for the first time in school history in women's soccer. Georgia has won the SEC championship. In Kenneth McElwain's second season, Georgia has a SEC championship. First championship in program history. Unbelievable.
Okay, after Georgia wins the SEC championship in women's soccer, we will fast forward to hockey. Georgia had a great hockey season. Division I AAU for the first time ever, and the season was pretty good. I always speak for everybody. We don't want our season to be ended by Tampa again, but it did. But I mean, what are you going to do, right? Tampa and South Carolina are the teams in the league you have to beat now to succeed. Georgia is one of the teams you have to beat, but Georgia will have to find a way to beat those two teams. And we have not found a way to do that yet. And then after hockey, volleyball had another good season. I'm sure Tom Black will have those guys once again doing good for the 24-25 season as well. And then I guess you get to football. Some people say Georgia's football season was disappointing. And I'm not sure how to go about that, because, I mean, Georgia made the SEC championship, won the East, won the Orange Bowl, and we're just justifying if our season was good or not after losing to Alabama in the SEC championship. Here's the thing, and I don't know what y'all believe, but here's what I believe. Georgia still was one of the 4 best teams in college football. It's just what happened under them. That's one of the reasons they don't get in the playoffs. Now, I always believe if you do not win your conference championship that you should not have leverage. I believe if an undefeated Georgia team loses in their conference, okay, like this year, undefeated Georgia team loses their conference championship, an undefeated or a one-loss Alabama team does, you know, you put 1 and 1 together. That's kind of how you get there. personally, I felt like here's the deal. People always talk about Florida State being robbed. I feel like Georgia had a better case than Florida State with that one loss in the SEC championship game. And you know what? 12-team playoff. Georgia should never miss the playoffs again, if we're being honest. So there you go. There's that. And then of course, basketball season, right? That's what we're all here for. Georgia started out unbelievable, only losing to Oregon in non-conference play, beating teams like Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, Florida State, High Point, who was a really good team. I mean, dude, it was a amazing. I believe I can turn this up now. We have a few calls coming up. So yeah. And then you got the conference play, right? Georgia beat Missouri and Arkansas in conference play. And then I love that call. Love that call. And then once again, when I was saying Georgia got off undefeated in conference play, arguably could have won their first 6 conference games, blowing late leads to, I think. Listen, put this up.
Dawgs off and running. Melendez to the right. Oh, ay, caramba. Oh, my God. Melendez with a one-handed slice. Raising the roof at Stegman Coliseum tonight.
Wow, what a call by Scott Howard. That always gets me excited, man. I'm sorry I got off track there, but I had to let y'all hear that. Anyway, for the last time, what I was saying, Georgia should have won their first 6 conference games. They unfortunately blew leads against Alabama and Tennessee. Kind of blew a chance to win versus Florida. It's okay, but you also have to realize going 6-12 in conference play again is not okay. But and here's the thing people do not speak about. The game against Missouri in the SEC tournament proved out to be huge, because without that win, Georgia probably does not get an NIT bid, if we're being honest. That's my opinion, but I don't know how everybody else feels about that. But and then Georgia goes on, they lose to Florida in the second round of the SEC tournament. Because of Ole Miss dropping out, we get an NIT bid, and Georgia beats Xavier. And then at that moment, you're feeling like, okay, we finally won a postseason game. That's great. And then they go on the road, they beat Wake Forest. And you're like, okay, a road win, that is going to be really solid for this team in the upcoming future. And then they go on the road and beat Ohio State and get to the Final Four. We did lose to Seton Hall, but at that moment against Ohio State, you're like, we could go win this bad boy. We really had a chance. And Seton Hall, credit to them, they won the NIT championship. They were just a great team. Georgia was right there with them for a little while, then they pulled away, then we eventually made it close later on, but credit to Seton Hall, they played better. But and then after basketball season, women's basketball was kind of a disappointing. This was one of Georgia's first losing seasons in women's basketball history. I say this, and I don't mean this in a mean way at all to Coach Abe and our coaches, but this is going to be a year, the 24-25 season, it's going to be a year they're going to have to get their mess together. If not, then I believe Georgia women's basketball is in for something for the long ride, which is not good. Something not good at all. We need to be consistent in women's basketball. Gymnastics fell off too. That was a horrible season. But I hope we all can rebound, and I really hope that the gymnastics team can rebound too. Of course, women's basketball as well, but gymnastics team is used to success. Women's basketball team is too. We need them to start winning again. Women's tennis made the Final Four, or the national championship game, lost to Texas A&M, a team they beat 2 or 3 times in the regular season. What are you supposed to do, right? You can't beat a team 4 or 5 times. That's almost impossible. I'm very proud of Georgia's women's tennis team with a first-year head coach, too. There ain't no telling what kind of things they could go to in the future. Softball started out really, really great. Throughout the end of the year, kind of faltered a little bit. We made a regional. We beat Liberty in the we beat Liberty to advance to the Super Regional, and they got swept by UCLA. Some people will say there's a lot to be left desired there, considering the fact Georgia had won Georgia from February to April. Georgia was one of the best teams in softball, and I agree with that. That Georgia team would have won the national championship if we kept playing like we did in that month. And something just happened. We started struggling, and we never fully rebounded. Hopefully next season will be a lot better for them, but very proud of the fight back this team had to host a regional, to win it, and then go to the Super Regionals. UCLA is a great team, so that's all I'll say. UCLA is a great team. I definitely cut that down. That'll get the card here. Anyway, and then baseball, right? That's what we'll end with. We'll end with baseball. Amazing season. I did not expect Georgia to have that kind of season in baseball, but we did. Charlie Condon will go down as, in my opinion, the greatest walk-on to ever play at Georgia, and one of the greatest players to ever play for Georgia, and definitely one of the greatest players in Georgia baseball history. What he did was just absolutely incredible. I have never seen a player who was automatic like Charlie Condon. It's like every time he walked up to the batter's box or he walked up to home plate to hit, he was home run material. And I mean, that is absolutely crazy to think about, that Georgia had a player like that. Georgia lost first round of the SEC tournament. I'm getting tired of that. Lost in the first round of the SEC tournament. That left a sour taste in our mouth. We go to the Athens Regional. We get to be a top 8 seed. We get to host Army, UNC Wilmington, and Georgia Tech. And in that exact same order, Georgia beat them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And to advance to the Super Regionals. And North Carolina State is playing today, I believe, in Omaha. They were, technically the winner of the Georgia game would have played Saturday. The College World Series is starting today. And man, North Carolina State gave us all. We gave North Carolina State all we could handle, and they gave us all we could handle. Unfortunately, Georgia lost 8-5, but I mean, it was an incredible and amazing season. And like I said, this athletic season will be one I absolutely never forget. Looking forward to 2024-25, Georgia opens up the football season against Clemson. Georgia's basketball schedule, it's almost done, but it should be a while before it comes out, but it's almost done. Georgia has added Florida, or Georgia will play Florida. Georgia will play North Carolina. Dang, I can't even talk. Georgia will play Notre Dame in the SEC ACC Challenge. They've also released some times for football games. They have like UMass at 12:45, and then what they call flex times, which could change. It will be determined 12 days before the game. I think that's dumb. Just make a time and stick with it. But that's me. Georgia's game against Clemson, I believe, will be at 12 o'clock, so that's odd. But that game should have been prime time. But anyway, Georgia's basketball schedule will almost be out. We'll have no information on the baseball schedule, but I did hear from the radio broadcast that the first month or so, Georgia will be playing exclusively on the road, which was absolutely interesting. So we'll find more of that out. Georgia basketball so far has South Carolina State, Georgia Tech, St. John's, Marquette, and now Notre Dame to the basketball schedule. So there will be more teams added as we go on. So that's kind of a wrap of the 23-24 Georgia Bulldogs athletics season. It was a fun one, and 24-25 I hope will be just as great. Go Dogs!
Dogs do the improbable, the unthinkable, the unbelievable. They beat Arkansas and go wire to win the SEC tournament.